Assalamu alaikum, this is me Atisham and you're watching my YouTube channel RILS The Lingua Expert. I'm the expert trainer of IELTS, PTE, OET, IELTS Life Skills and other English language proficiency exams. In this video, I'm going to discuss another very important type of dependent clause, which is relative clause or adjective clause. Now, why do we call it relative clause? There is a strong reason behind it. We call adjective clause as a relative clause because it always adds or supplements information to the noun or pronoun. As you all know that the word adjective in the past of speech and adjective phrase in phrase, they always modify a noun or pronoun in a sentence. So similarly, the function of adjective clause or relative clause is that it also modifies a noun or pronoun in a sentence, and it gives additional or necessary or unnecessary information with respect to that noun which it modifies to. So usually almost you would see that the relative clause will come after the mentioned noun or pronoun in a sentence. I will give you a few examples, but before that I would tell you that which relative pronouns are necessary to construct your relative or adjective clause. So let's get to learn about these different words which we need them in order to structure the relative clause. So you have to note down few of the words which are very important, like that, which, whose, whom, who, you have where, why. These all are the different words which you use them in order to structure relative clause. Now, relative clause actually can be categorized into types. One, we call it essential relative clause, and the other one is non-essential relative clause. So what is essential and what is non-essential? First, I would like to tell you essential clause. Essential relative clause is a clause which is mandatory, which is necessary or compulsory to be used in order to modify a noun which may be ambiguous to the reader, and maybe as a writer you think that you should add some supplementary details or information in order to support that noun, that what this particular object or who this particular person is in this sentence that you have already mentioned. So you add some supplementary detail in the form of relative clause, and we call it essential relative clause. Now I'll give you one example so that you can get to fully understand. If I say a sentence that the man who's wearing a blue shirt is my teacher. So the man, this is actually a noun. Man is a noun. So when you say the man who is wearing blue shirt, so this is a combination of subject and a verb. Who is wearing a blue shirt, so it has its own subject verb, so this is why we call it a clause, and it adds meaning or it modifies the earlier mentioned noun which is man. So the man who's wearing a blue shirt is my teacher, so it has subject, verb, object, but this is not an object, this is a complementation. Is my teacher, so verb is the stative verb. This is why whatever comes after is, this would be called complementation. So in the subject you see man is a noun, the is a pre-modification, and in the post-modification you have adjusted the relative clause which is who is wearing the blue shirt. So this clause is actually supporting this man, that which man? The man who is wearing this blue shirt. So this would be called as relative clause. Now let's talk about non-essential clause, and remember that essential clause is also known as restrictive clause. If somebody asks you what is restrictive clause in relative or dependent, so you would say that it's a type of adjective or relative clause which we call essential relative clause. So this restrictive will be the second name of this particular essential clause. Now let's talk about non-essential clause. Now non-essential clause, as by the name it suggests that here the clause which works as a modifier of a noun or pronoun, but it is not mandatory in a sentence. That is additional but not mandatory, and it is usually used with comma in writing. And the essential one, it is not used with the comma, so this is the compulsory one, is in essential. But here in non-essential, we usually separate in writing with the help of commas, like right from the start and at the end we place commas to separate this particular portion of the sentence that we call it relative clause. So I'll give you one example so that you can clearly get to understand. If I say Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, so he's now currently the Prime Minister of this country. So who is the Prime Minister of Pakistan? This is actually a clause, and this is a relative clause or adjective clause because it modifies the noun which has already been used before this particular clause, which is Imran Khan. So Imran Khan, additional information, who is the Prime Minister of Pakistan, will address to the nation today. So will address, this is a verb phrase, so subject, you have used Imran Khan, who is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. This is a relative clause. Why? Because it is further modifying, or it has come in the post modification to modify the preceding noun, which is Imran Khan. So this is the concept of essential and non-essential in relative or adjective clause. Now let's get to have few more examples so that you can fully understand the concept of adjective clause. The first example I would like to quote here, that the man who's sitting outside is my friend. So the man, see, man is a noun, who is sitting outside. So who is sitting outside, this is basically a relative clause, and then is the verb, and my friend is the having the adjectival quality, so it works as complementation. So is my friend. This is the concept of using adjective clause. Now second example I would like to quote here, that this is the player for whom actually red card was shown. So this is the player for whom red card was shown. So whom red card was shown, here this whom is actually working as the object of the dependent clause, because whom refers to object and whereas who refers to subject. So the third example, the hotel where we stayed last summer is closed now. So the hotel where we stayed last summer is closed now. So where we stayed last summer, where we stayed, it gives more information about the hotel, so it gives additional. This is why we call it relative one, and it is having adjectival quality. Why? Because it is modifying further hotel. So if you need more information, which hotel, so the hotel which we stayed last summer is closed now. So again you have this as working as modification, post modification in a sentence structure of a noun or pronoun. Now another example, that's the reason why didn't I call you earlier, why didn't I call you earlier. This is also working as a relative clause, that which reason, so the reason why I didn't call you earlier. So this is actually post modifying the word reason in this, and it has been used in an object, but with this object of a noun reason, you have further information which supports the reason. So I hope that this concept you have found easier, and adjective clause, they always come in the post modification of noun or pronoun, because the function of an adjective or adjective phrase or even this adjective clause is the same or remains same. Why? Because they always help a noun or pronoun to be modified by the help of these particular words or phrase or actually a clause in a sentence. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any query with respect to this topic or previous topic, so with respect to parts of speech, phrase and a clause, you can feel free to type your message in the comment box below. I would surely respond you and give my feedback with respect to such topics. Before I sign off, please subscribe to my channel, like and share, and see you in the next video. Thank you.